Those Manchester United players whose experience of this kind of occasion has multiplied in the last 2 or 3 seasons. And although some will try to persuade us that there are weightier issues for football fans to consider at the moment, when all the shares and all the diaries have been bought and sold, it's who wins matches like these that really matters. And that's why there will always be matches like these. Barcelona in their traditional red and blue colours, and Manchester United in a change strip of all white. Sergi has missed out. This is David Beckham. And a nervous start by one of the most experienced men in the Barcelona team, the left-back Sergi.
Yes, I'm rather hoping Beckham and Giggs both do that and push on and try and attack their wing-backs, if you like. But that's a waste. David Beckham should have done a lot better with that. Both York and Solskjaer available, and he's flashed at that.
A year ago, almost to the day, Barcelona kicked off their Champions League campaign at Newcastle, who won a spectacular match by 3-2. A fortnight later, this ground witnessed a game just as good between Manchester United and Juventus. And tonight we have a match with the potential to be every bit as memorable. And at least United haven't conceded a goal in 24 seconds tonight. The Spanish World Cup defender. Cocu, the Dutch World Cup midfield player. Rivaldo, the Brazilian World Cup player. On towards Zenden, who's got in on the dangerous side of Gary Neville, but the ball had a bit too much pace on it.
We've just seen an early glimpse of Rivaldo then dropping off and getting the ball in free possession, free space. I think that's a responsibility of Roy Keane's. Roy Keane's got to just play across the field rather than running forward. He's got to pick up whichever loose man in midfield makes himself the most dangerous.
Stam forward towards Giggs. Luis Enrique has started the game at right back, a man who's made his name as a forward and as a midfield player. This is Uli Solskjaer.
Incidentally, a player that most United fans would love to see come here.
Giovanni trying to knock the ball between the legs of Solskjaer. Here's Dennis Irwin. Now Paul Scholes. Beckham was making a break down the centre and then checked. It looked scarier than the bride at the wedding on Sunday. Philip Cocu. Giovanni. Tackled by Scholes. This is Luis Enrique. Alex Ferguson admitted he was a little disappointed with the atmosphere inside Old Trafford for the last big European occasion here, the quarter-final against Monaco. I don't think he'll be disappointed tonight. Sergi has given it away to Keane. David Beckham. Now Dwight York. Held up by Reisiger and cleared by Sergi and then by Cocu. Headingberg, who started only one previous game this season but had an outstanding match at West Ham and deputising tonight for Ronnie Johnson. Dennis Irwin back in action after missing the weekend. Uli Solskjaer. Tackled by Cocu, who's the anchor man in midfield for Barcelona.
Yeah, he's going to be a problem for United. He plays in that position where United can't really push Scholes onto him because then he's going to leave the space vacant. And Cocu, I think, is going to get a lot of possession from the back four of Barcelona.
Little tie that for Irwin from Keane, but he's managed to salvage a throw-in from the situation. Manchester United will want to play with tempo and take the game to Barcelona, but they've got to match that by keeping their concentration, something Scholes didn't do there. Gave it away to Anderson. Rivaldo bounced awkwardly in front of Schmeichel, who was able to recover ahead of Sonny Anderson. Scholes' mistake, and Rivaldo almost punished Manchester United. It was an awkward shot for Schmeichel to deal with, but maybe this man on the ball, Rivaldo, if he had his time over again, will wish that he tested the Manchester United goalkeeper more fully. This is Sergi. Squeeze in a cross, which Schmeichel deals with comfortably this time. Bowled out to Dwight York. Luis Enrique is the man with him. Paul Scholes. Gary Neville. Into Ryan Giggs. Beckham had gone beyond Sergi. Rivaldo looking for goal from inside of his own half. No, only David Beckham does that. Schmeichel was off his line.
Well, we've just seen two real instances, haven't we, of Rivaldo. I mean, look at that. From his own half, spotter's badge, keeper's off his line. Fortunately, it's like one of my golf shots. That's gone well wide. But quite honestly, that was an interesting one. The one before caused Schmeichel a lot more trouble.
Edinburgh. Call towards his fellow countryman on his Solskjaer. Goal kick has been given.
I'm not sure that wasn't a foul, you know. I think Reisinger's there, he's holding him off as much as possible. Definitely no intention to play the ball, and I think Solskjaer's got a genuine case here. He's leaning into him, he's running him off the ball altogether. He might think that Solskjaer's dragging his arm over, but I think that's a free kick.
Rivaldo. Cocu. Giovanni has made a forward run, created some space on the right-hand side, first to Luis Enrique, and now Luis Figo. Stand the defender in the way. Calmly down. He's growing in confidence as a Manchester United player, up stump. As is this man, Dwight York. York did play his first full season in Europe last year when Aston Villa were beaten in the UEFA quarter-finals by the Spanish team, Atletico Madrid. And said at the weekend, this is like a World Cup game for me. I suppose, with the greatest respect to his homeland, when you're an international of Trinidad and Tobago, you're not going to win the World Cup. This is about as big as it gets for Dwight York.
Looking at Ryan Giggs, you know, he's got a sort of double role tonight. All right, he can occupy the orthodox left-sided position, but I think Alex Ferguson from time to time will ask him to come infield and try and get closer to Cocu.
Here is Ryan Giggs on the ball. Turned in towards Dwight York, who is outnumbered. Smuggled away by Michael Weisiger as far as David Beckham. Weisiger there again. Playing as a central defender tonight, Weisiger. He was Holland's right back during the World Cup finals. Actually started on the bench and displaced Aaron Winter during the course of the finals. Boudewijn Zenden, who played for Holland in the World Cup. Rivaldo run off the ball by Scholes and by Keane. Keane forward towards Solskjaer. Giovanni.
You know, when we looked at their lineup before the match, you know, and saw all the attacking options that Barcelona had got, we thought United are going to have a fair amount of possession, a fair amount of attacking play themselves. But quite frankly, at the moment, Barcelona looked the most organised, not most organised, most composed side.
Zenden trying to smuggle the ball through to Rivaldo.
And they've got a very fluid midfield, haven't they? I mean, they're floating about. As I said, Van Gaal likes to hold people in wide areas and bounce the ball off them. But they're very, very fluid in midfield. And it's hard at the moment for United to get close to them.
Beckham. It's an awkward one, which Ruud Hesp, the goalkeeper, rather belatedly comes to claim. He went to the World Cup and indeed to Euro 96 with the Dutch squad, but he's still uncapped. He was their #3 goalkeeper at each tournament. Foul there by Gary Neville on Boudewijn Zenden. Did play in the World Cup semi-final for Holland, but His opportunities were limited really to the matches for which Mark Overmars was not fit. Scored in the third and fourth place game at Paris. Barcelona have settled pretty well in these opening 10 minutes. Reisiger, given away to Beckham. Four other Manchester United players in the break. Early in towards Ryan Giggs. Solskjaer in the middle. Here's Oli Solskjaer. Somehow it was Michael Reisiger who got there first and diverted the ball via the frame of his own goal away for a corner. In fact, a free kick has been given here to Barcelona.
I think he's given a goal kick. I mean, that's a slack pass from Reisiger. Good ball, that little angle one, Luis Enrique not back on coverage, just a bit behind Solskjaer, but as you say, a chance has gone begging there. But that's an area I think United can exploit. A ball right to left because Luis Enrique is not going to take the best defensive positions. Very often Barcelona will play 2v2 at the back.
Luis Figo behind Sammy Anderson. Picked off by Gary Neville, now Oli Solskjaer. Who has won it back? This is Luis Enrique. Now Anderson. Held off Keane well. On by Luis Figo. Challenge from behind by Stam was clean. This is Roy Keane. Squeezed into the path of David Beckham. Dwight York just slipped as he tried to change direction. And the top surface is pretty greasy now. But it's good, slick surface for passing. This is Zender. Rivaldo. Charged down by Keane. Beckham, now York. Played to David Beckham's left. Oli Solskjaer. Ryan Giggs. Slipped away from Cocu. Into York. On goes Ryan Giggs. Says he just managed to get back there. Rivaldo. More promising for Manchester United, but break on now with Giovanni on the ball for Barcelona. Rivaldo is free to his left momentarily. Zender. Challenged by Neville and fouled by Neville.
Gets a foul, all right. I was just wondering whether he might get carded for that. I think if he does it again, I think he'll definitely get it. That's the sort of tackle normally that referees at this level will give cards for. But what we are seeing at the moment, you know, we're seeing some lovely slick football and end-to-end at the moment, although with the exception of once, we haven't really seen either keeper really trouble.
It's a pretty open game. We've had 13 minutes. It's Rivaldo with a free kick. All turned by Owen, straight at Abelardo, cleared by Stam. Sergi trying to play it back to Reisiger, and a handball has been given against Dwight York.
Oh, I think that's definitely a handball. I'm not so sure the referee saw it. The referee glanced about 70 yards to the linesman on this side for a decision.
Sergi's had one or two dicey moments. They left back.
I mean, he is a sort of player. He's at his best, as we saw in Euro 96, at his best coming forward, loves to raid, and I think that's important because we know Luis Enrique's got great qualities coming forward. I think it's important that Giggs and Beckham try and make these two wide defenders defend. Keep them penned back in their own half of the field. But the big problem then, of course, is if they stay up the field, United have a tendency to maybe get outnumbered in midfield.
Talking with Alex Ferguson a little earlier this afternoon, he said that is a feature of Louis van Gaal's teams. They always try to get an extra man in midfield, always try to outnumber you in that department, where they have so many players so comfortable on the ball. David Beckham for the Manchester United midfield, held up by Michael Reisiger.
I mean, you always look at them, you've always looked at Dutch sides over the years and the Barcelona team because of the Dutch influence, and always felt that they leave good spaces to attack them with, but nobody really punishes them.
Way by Rivaldo. The up stump. Heading Berg. Dwight York. Into the path of Ryan Giggs, who has Dennis Irwin overlapping. Giggs looking to get on the outside of Luis Figo. Giggs has kept his feet. It's in towards York. Just enough against him. A corner has been given, though.
We can talk about all the passing in the world, and there has been some excellent passing. This, I think, is going to be a key tonight. Good crossing of the ball. Any balls whipped across today are going to be dangerous. And York is attacking that one, as you say, Racing. It just gets a secondary rebound there.
Corner to Manchester United. Quarter of an hour gone. David Beckham takes. In towards Dwight York again. Reisinger go once more was the defender. Sergi is able to clear. Zenden trying to run Neville. Interesting, Louis van Gaal has had a lot to say about mergers and monopolies and media moguls since arriving on Monday, but the Dutch takeover at Barcelona is causing quite a stir with the Catalans. Neither the media nor the Nou Camp hordes have taken to the idea of a tulip plantation in their back garden. 4 Dutch coaches, 6 Dutch players and counting, with the De Boer twins still on the shopping list. The future is certainly orange in Barcelona, and there are some who preferred the past. This is Luis Figo, the sole Portuguese member of the lineup, picked off by Dennis Irwin. Oli Solskjaer. Now Dwight York. David Beckham. He's got outside Sergi. Beckham's cross. Giggs is there! Ryan Giggs to Manchester United. Fantastic cross by Beckham. And a header to match. Yes, a header to match from Ryan Giggs. It's Manchester United's 250th goal in European football. What a landmark.
That's a brilliant cross there. Brilliant work by Beckham. Some great lead-up play to it. But have a look at Luis Enrique trying to make an orthodox position there. But a great header. I think they're going to be vulnerable there all night, Barcelona, with balls played from right to left. That is a magnificent header, though.
It's Manchester United's 134th match in Europe. Their first goal was scored by the late Tommy Taylor in Brussels against Anderlecht 42 years ago. And there is goal number 250, in keeping with the traditions of the past. Made by Beckham, scored by Giggs. Scored a fantastic goal here against Juventus in the opening Champions League fixture at Old Trafford last season. But that was a real Ryan Giggs goal, a dribble and shot. A full-blooded header, not what we associate with him. Rivaldo, though. Onto his less favoured right foot. On by Solskjaer. This is York. Scholes. Giggs. I think he has a sore forehead. Doesn't see all that much action. Irwin into York. Giggs again. Luis Enrique catching up. Couldn't get it clear. Abelardo only as far as Beckham. Handball appeals. Manchester United still have it. Roy Keane! He's managed to fall on it and hold it.
And while that's going on, you know, there's definite handball on the edge of the box. And Nicky Butt and Phil Neville are giving the linesman here absolute abuse about it. The linesman must have seen that handball.
Zenden. Barcelona look pretty assured for a quarter of an hour or so. Now they look rattled. Rivaldo dispossessed by Scholes. This is Giggs. Came off Reisinger, who miscued. David Beckham. In towards Dwight York. Headed towards Oli Solskjaer.
There's that little situation again, isn't it? Somebody peeling off to beyond the far post. Luis Enrique not back on cover. They're playing virtually covers coming from the respective centre-halves.
Wayward ball from Giovanni. Barcelona have made a modest start to the season. 1 win in 4 games, just 2 goals scored. Their manager already under pressure. The same manager who did the League and Cup double and won the European Super Cup last season, his first season. This is Giovanni. It's funny that Manchester United won nothing last season and their manager has never been in greater demand.
You certainly wouldn't have been surprised to have seen that go close.
Here comes the goal again, Ron.
Oh, this is a magnificent cross, and it. Giggs coming in, brilliant wing play, wing to wing, brilliant wing play. Giggs fully exploiting the inadequacies of a makeshift fullback and exploiting them brilliantly.
Ryan Giggs taking on that makeshift fullback and beating him again. Crossed in towards Ole Solskjaer, headed away by Abelardo. Luis Enrique in more familiar territory. Boudin Zenden, Philippe Cocu, Luis Enrique.
I mean, basically playing him at fullback's almost the equivalent of
Anderson down towards Rivaldo.
And asking Giggs to play fullback, isn't it? He can do it, but I know if you're opposing them, you prefer to see them in the defensive half of the field than in the attacking half.
Sergi, it was a rather ambitious pass again, and it found only Solskjaer. Now Giggs, free queuing up at the far post. Giggs very long towards David Beckham. Couldn't quite keep that in. Bit of a waste that from Giggs.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest weakness in his game, isn't he? His consistency at crossing isn't always at the same level as everything else is. But I think they can reverse that, and we've talked about crossing it one way from Beckham to Giggs. I also think Giggs can do that, and Beckham can get up against Sergi, who's only a small defender.
Ronaldo. Oh, but it was who got up above Anderson, and Scholes who tidied up. Quarter of the match gone. Manchester United goal headed by Ryan Giggs after 17 minutes from David Beckham's cross. Terrific goal. Neville first to the ball, ahead of Zenden. Solskjaer might still reach this. Hesper's lost it. It's only Solskjaer, and he's been penalised. And the goalkeeper is a lucky man.
Well, that's a dangerous ball. He's skipping and sliding. I think well,
I don't think he ever had it.
Well, I mean, my first reaction was I thought the keeper had it and he must maybe just dragged it. Keeper was a bit lucky he didn't pull him down for a penalty there.
It's quite a ball from Gary Neville, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that
looked too low at first.
Clive, under these conditions, I think anything that slid across the box is going to cause problems.
Good defending by Reisiger. That came to him on the half volley and was rising. Abelardo to Cocu. Now Luis Figo. Well, both Anderson and Zenden threatened to make a forward run, and neither really went through with it. This might bounce for Ole Solskjaer as the packed house at Old Trafford sing his name. Beckham. Scholes has arrived late in the day. It's York! Oh, terrific image! Scholes! 2-0! Paul Scholes, the scorer, after an absolutely spectacular attempt by Dwight York, was kept out. And Manchester United have started their Champions League campaign with a couple of storming goals.
Well, that'd have been that goal, if it had gone in from Yorkie, they'd have been talking about all over Europe now. But great following up from an attacking midfield player. Brilliant athleticism, a good save, unfortunate rebound, unfortunate for Man United, Scholes right on the spot, which he does so well, an attacking midfield player breaking forward. But at the moment, United are absolutely running this back line ragged.
Paul Scholes' first goal of the season. Dwight York almost adding to his collection here. But this is as much as Alex Ferguson could have hoped for from the opening 25 minutes of this match. 2 goals without reply.
When you have to believe a club like Barcelona, with all their resources, must have a defender that they could have played instead of one of the world's best forwards.
Seems amazing to me that in a competition in which you are allowed 7 substitutes, they can only name 6 tonight. They only brought 17 players to England. Cocu. Reisiger. Kluivert, what's the score? Is the chant from the Manchester United fans. Patrick Kluivert, who didn't even deem himself a target for Manchester United, watching now as first Dwight Yorke is denied by Ruud Hesp, and then after that rebound off Luis Enrique, Paul Scholes sweeps the club that Kluivert snubbed into a 2-goal lead. He did sign for Barcelona, but he is not eligible to play tonight because he didn't sign in time.
This is better. I was just watching that now. Instead of somebody from the wide positions trying to come in and pick up the number 15 Cocu, they're now blocking him off with one of the strikers. I think that enables United to keep their shape better.
Barcelona look quite dispirited at the moment. I don't think it's a very happy ship altogether.
I can't believe that the defenders would be particularly happy having to play this way. You know, 2 defenders having to cover 2 central defenders having to cover virtually the whole of the width of the pitch.
The Champions League was an unmitigated disaster for them last season. 1 win, and that in a dead rubber against Newcastle at the Nou Camp. Nobody conceded more goals. Kiev beat them 3-0 and 4-0 as the players reluctantly wrestled with Van Gaal's means and methods. The Spanish Championship was the saving grace for them, but even there they lost 10 games and over 50 goals. The club's credentials have been better than they are at the moment. Whistles are because Rivaldo is down and apparently needed some attention. Well, Henningberg was holding him. Maybe his knee, actually. I think he landed awkwardly, and it's his left knee, which is...
It certainly could have been for the physical challenge, because there was hardly a physical challenge there.
This is the young Nigerian player, Samuel Okonowu. Rivaldo, the man we fingered as the danger man pre-match, may be leaving us. Doesn't look good for the Brazilian. The Barcelona bench are just looking anxiously for a signal as to whether or not Rivaldo is going to be able to continue. Neville. Header is by Abalado. This is Cocu. Luis Figo. Wasn't the best of passes, played Sergi into trouble.
See, this is the position now. Solskjaer's just shutting off Cocu, and it's work. That's working a lot better now for United.
Keen to Giggs. A little ambitious.
Well, Rivaldo's coming back on, Clive, but he looks very unhappy about it at the moment.
He's not exactly a smooth mover at the best of times.
No, he's not, actually.
It gives a new meaning to the phrase bow-legged. He's a very big man. Almost half an hour played. Manchester United through a Ryan Giggs header after 17 minutes and a close-range goal from Paul Scholes after 24 minutes, leading by 2-0. Avalado didn't see York. Offside, Oli Solskjaer. Flag is up.
That'll be tight. That'll be a tight one, that. I mean, some nice bright thinking between the two strikers. York is nicked it, sees him through. Ooh.
His left leg was offside, wasn't it?
But I mean, it only goes to prove, even at the highest level, you've got to be able to defend. I mean, you looked at their lineup beforehand and thought, you know, we're either going to see one of the great attacking displays of all time from Barcelona, or they're going to catch a packet. And at the moment, that secondary thing looks possible. But they've certainly got the ammunition in to score a goal themselves.
Cocu was looking for Zenin to get beyond Neville. Neville was looking for the ball. Beckham trying to get Solskjaer on beyond Cocu. Play back to Ruud Hesby, only just got there.
Full marks for Solskjaer. He's on the top of his form at the moment. He's having a great run in the league. And that's his enthusiasm and his zest for the game. Chasing that one in, nearly got them another goal.
Throw by Neville towards Keane. Came off York. He's been a renewed man since all that talk of him joining Tottenham Hotspur. I think Alex Ferguson should offer the whole team to White Hart Lane. It just seemed to galvanise his enthusiasm to be a part of this huge club. He said he didn't want to go. Alex Ferguson said that's good enough for me, and what's more, I'll give you a chance in the team alongside my new signing. It's working a treat. Foul by Neville on Zenden. Now this is good 35 yards out. Rivaldo thinks better than a shot and plays Luis Figo in. Oh, Neville missed it. This is Zenden, and this is Rivaldo, and it's deflected off Stam, and the flag is up. Won't count. Sonny Anderson was closing in. I think it came off a Manchester United defender. Let's see.
But the ball's in deep here. There's a stumble. It's actually caught Neville on the arm there. Just marginally offside. I'm not so sure.
They don't usually give those these days either.
No. I don't think they've been too happy there. He's hit the shot. I mean, it's questionable now whether Giovanni was interfering with play there.
I don't think he was.
Ooh.
Little let off for Manchester United. Stand down to Giggs. Scholes. York. Beckham. Dispossessed by Sergi. Here is Giovanni. Now Rivaldo. Giovanni. Scholes got back there.
That's great backtracking from midfield. Just did enough to put him off the shot and put them on the counter here. I mean, I think this way defending, just the two central defenders there, both having to cover each other. I think, I wouldn't fancy having any of my teams play that way. I think it's all right if you've got a third defender there that can act as an insurance man. They get afforded absolutely no cover whatsoever. It's not as if Coco, the midfield players, a natural defender that can slot in when the two central defenders get split.
Rivaldo has found Luis Figo here. On by Anderson. Figo. It'll find its way into the hands of Schmeichel, but a better 2 or 3 minutes for Barcelona.
I wonder whether he might start freeing himself a little bit. You know, Figo's played a very disciplined part out on the wide, not really involved in the game. I wonder whether he might start coming in field and letting Luis Enrique come around the right-hand side.
York. Giggs. Cocu was back there. And let's not forget, this is a totally different equation from the European football that we saw in the UEFA Cup last night. That was the first leg of a two-handed affair. This is a league for the champions and some of the runners-up. 6 games. Tonight's result counts for points. It has no relevance to the return match, which is actually on match day 5 towards the end of November, when Manchester United go to the Nou Camp. Just as well for Manchester United to settle things down here for a while.
They take the heat out a little bit, as you said. They've just had a couple of moments where Barcelona put threats on them.
Reisiger. Zenden. It's nicely delivered for Koku. Back towards Zenden. Bear catching up, and Schmeichel's going to beat the pair of them. They're the 2 players who were signed by Barcelona from PSV Eindhoven in the summer. Zenden there and Koku. Anderson given away to Giggs. Right, Giggs with 4 Barcelona men around him. Tries to play Dwight York in. York back towards Giggs. Might come to Solskjaer. Just had a little bit too much pace on it from York, although it was the right idea.
I think the pressure from Sergi was just enough so he couldn't quite feel it in. He knows he's only got one little look at this. Sergi's making up the ground. He whips it in, and you know, it's one of those invitations. Sometimes they go in for you, sometimes they don't. But I think United are giving them all sorts of problems when they come forward now.
Keane looking for Owen. Luis Figo did just about enough. Now, did the ball roll against his arm? Certainly the supporters behind that goal felt so. Beckham has dispossessed Rivaldo. Looking to get York in behind Reisiger. Just asked a bit too much at Dwight York. Giovanni challenged first by Keane and then by Scholes. It's a free kick, takes it quickly. Rivaldo. Zenden. Sergi. Easily cut out by Keane. Giggs. Slipped away from Keane, but he managed to win the challenge with Zenden. And Giggs, who played him into trouble in the first place, clears a rather more agricultural version this time. And it away. York saw Giggs making the run, and Hess just reacted in time. Fantastic vision from Dwight York.
I'm talking to some of the people in Manchester a few weeks ago. They're on about Dwight York. What sort of a player is this? I said, I tell you what, he's a far, far better target man than people think he is. It's the midfield players or players that play in off him will appreciate him so much because he can set play up. I think that was a first-class example. Shea shows for the ball, has it to feet, and almost puts Giggs clear through.
Scholes to York. Trying to play Scholes back in. Scholes snapping away for Koku and fouling him. They're just being run off the ball at times, Barcelona, by the sheer energy and appetite of Manchester United. This is Dwight York. Beckham did make a run beyond Sergi, and York trying to play it inside the fullback. Rivaldo. Anderson getting a little bit isolated up front. He was left out of the Barcelona team at the weekend to make way for Patrick Kluivert's arrival. He may be a little disheartened and a little worried about his future, Sonny Anderson. But Kluivert cannot play in this competition unless Barcelona qualify for the quarter-finals after Christmas. Gary Neville. Oli Solskjaer. Luis Enrique back there again. Cocu. Rivaldo. Giovanni. Anderson. Rivaldo. A little bit of space here for Luis Figo. Isolated with Dennis Irwin. It's Luis Figo. It's about as free as he's been tonight. Manchester United had only the one man with him.
Yeah, that's a nice little drag back, cuts in field. He's got a great left foot. That's not one of his better shots, but interesting to me there was Luis Enrique got into the central striking position.
Last 5 minutes of the first half, which has been good for Manchester United. Terrific header by Ryan Giggs from David Beckham's cross, added to by Paul Scholes from close in after an overhead kick by Dwight Yorke had been kept out by Ruud Hess, the Barcelona goalkeeper here. Jordi Cruyff didn't tell him about that, did he?
I tell you what, nobody had to tell him about was the fact that Sergi is a super attacking left fullback, but at the moment David Beckham has threatened him every time he's got possession. Beckham's gone in and pressurised him, and I think I'm just watching him now, Sergi coming over the halfway line. That's probably the first time in a game now that he's been in this half of the field.
Here is Sergi, cut out by Scholes this time. On towards Beckham, quite accurate enough. Sergi once more. Space for Luis Figo. Rivaldo. He's tried to lift it in towards his fellow countryman Giovanni. Deflected on the way. Abelardo under pressure from York.
That's working beautiful, and now one of the strikers just dropping off when they lose possession, making like a five-man midfield against matching the Barcelona five.
This means that Barcelona have lost their favourite route out of defence with Cocu. Anderson, though, on attack. Came off Henning Berg, and that will be a corner to Barcelona. Berg played in all but one of United's Champions League games last season, so he's well experienced in this competition. Played, of course, with Blackburn in the same competition too. Luis Figo with a corner. Oh, little flick by Giovanni, and the side foot is from Sonny Anderson, and somehow Schmeichel and then Irwin kept him out. Clearest chance of the night for Barcelona fell to Sonny Anderson. Sergi. Rivaldo. Back in towards Giovanni. Here's Anderson once more and stabbed it just enough this time. Anderson has kept it in. Charged down by Henning Berg. And for the first time tonight, Manchester United have had to do some desperate defending.
Well, this is a magnificent save by the keeper. Reaction, he stays strong. The rebound, fortunately, goes United's way. And, you know, a few seconds later, Jaap Stam's made a tremendous retrieving header in the middle of the penalty box.
Another corner, Rivaldo takes. Abelardo is there. It's away as far as Zenden, charged down by Gary Neville this time, and he felt it. Manchester United are feeling some Barcelona pressure.
Yeah, there's a little theory in the game as well about United that maybe they're a bit of a on the small side. I mean, looking at the headers there, the two central defenders are both good headers. Keane's a good header. York is not bad, actually.
Last minute of the half. Luis Figo takes. Header is by Jaap Stam this time. Yet another corner to Barcelona. Half-time whistle can't come soon enough for Manchester United at this moment, although it's been a good half for them. Figo again. Stam again. Sergi is there, dispossesses Solskjaer. Charged down by that man Stam. Ryan Giggs, chance to counter. Giovanni catching up. Giggs going off. Fantastic run. Zenden it is back inside his own half. Giggs deserved a free kick somewhere along the line. Zenden once more. Could go all the way here. Lays it off to Rivaldo. Stam with another important challenge. Roy Keane. On towards Dwight Yorke. Two in support of Yorke. Play behind Solskjaer. Only Solskjaer! Just couldn't quite wrap his foot around it as he turned away from goal.
I must confess, I thought that was a deflection. Yorkie can't quite play the ball ahead of him here, cuts it behind him. Solskjaer, bright feet, turns, bad angle. Didn't show clearly. I must admit, I got the impression that was a little deflection.
There will be 2 additional minutes at the end of this first 45.
What we can only say, it's been the second half something like. I mean, this has been brilliant. Excellent play. I think the way Barcelona play make it conducive to a good game as well, don't they?
Yeah, what we've seen in the last 10 minutes is they are not out of this game yet.
Well, I can remember seeing them play at Newcastle last year when they were well beaten, and in the last 20 minutes they turned up the heat, and I tell you what, they had Newcastle hanging on grimly.
Yeah, Rivaldo could have had a hat-trick in the last 15 minutes there. Here he is on the ball. Well, the referee has blown the whistle after 1 additional minute and brings to an end a half by which we will remember a wonderful headed goal by Ryan Giggs from a thumping cross from David Beckham for the right-hand side. And then after Dwight York had been denied an even better goal, an overhead kick saved by Hess, Paul Scholes is on hand at close range to put Manchester United 2 up inside 25 minutes. Barcelona have asked some questions of them in the latter stages of the first half. But at half-time, it's Manchester United who lead by 2-0. He doesn't happen to like the new challenge or the new chips that he's been given to play with. He can move on to another table. Can't blame him if he's doing some home cooking with all this speculation splashing around. But the man with the red pyjamas will sleep very soundly tonight if Manchester United can preserve their half-time lead. Ron Atkinson alongside me. Will there have been a particular theme to his half-time remarks, do you think?
I think he will have just reminded people that to get themselves sorted out on the set plays, on the corners. And I think he will keep saying, don't drop off the pace, don't let the pace slacken. They're weak at the back, it's a great chance to go and put them out of sight, sort of thing.
Here's Sergi. On towards Sonny Anderson. Oh, and Henning Berg miscued momentarily. Just for the record, the Barcelona defenders who are missing are Miguel Nadal and Albert Salades, who were in their Spanish World Cup squad, and Winston Bojardo, the Dutchman who we saw at the World Cup finals too. Luis Figo. Ooh, that's a dangerous cross in. Rivaldo couldn't quite catch up with it. This is Luis Enrique. Luis Figo down towards Giovanni, but Stam showed a little bit more appetite for the ball. Rivaldo. Cocu. Tackled by Stam. He's having a good night, Jaap Stam.
I think what has been nice for him in the first half was the fact that there was only Anderson playing through the middle, and he was able to sort of focus on him, and Berg either pushed in and picked up the spare midfield player or covered at the back. I think they might be getting a different problem now. I think they're going to push 2 or 3 through the middle. Looks like Figo's gone off the flank and has decided to go and see if he can do some damage in the centre.
Here is Luis Figo. Now Rivaldo. And now Anderson. And it's 2-1. Sonny Anderson has pulled a goal back to the sound of silence inside Old Trafford. A goal that came within 2 minutes of the restart from the Brazilian Sonny Anderson.
Well, there's been a lot of shoving the ball there. It's 2 unfortunate ricochets from between the United players. And to be fair to Anderson, the ball's just fallen at his feet. He's tucked it away brightly. I mean, the game now takes on a whole different complexion. But I just wonder how much that's due to the fact that Barcelona decided, even from the half-time, to push more people through the middle. Didn't leave Anderson isolated.
Anderson, the goal scorer. Rivaldo looking for Zenden. We just heard that.
I think he was a bit ambitious there, the announcer, wasn't he, to try and raise a bit of enthusiasm for a Sonny Anderson goal.
There are officially 300 travelling Barcelona fans in this massive crowd inside Old Trafford tonight. But here's Luis Figo trying to add to their pleasure and renewed hope.
They had a few moments in the first half, and since the kick-off at the restart, and this fella Figo's been right in the thick of it. He actually had a lot to do with the setting up play that got Barcelona into a goal-scoring position.
Now the travelling fans from Catalonia. Only one Catalan in this Barcelona starting lineup tonight, and he is Sergi, the left back. It's a proud nation within a nation. Giggs trying to run Luis Enrique, and Giggs has been penalised, apparently for pulling Luis Enrique back.
Luis Enrique tried to make Ryan Giggs run virtually outside of Old Trafford to get round him then.
Here is Luis Enrique. Luis Figo. Of course, the regular Barcelona right back was Albert Ferrer, who's now at Chelsea. And they did have a bit of a selling spree as well as a spending spree during the summer. Amor went, De La Peña went, Pizzi went, Coto went. I don't know that Hess particularly wanted that back. Headed forward by Berg. Giovanni. Cocu. Strong start to the second half by Barcelona. Zenden. Rivaldo. Luis Enrique. Giovanni. Well, against most teams, I suppose you'd be happy for them to take their chances against Schmeichel for that kind of range, but against Giovanni and Rivaldo, I think Schmeichel would like to see somebody charging the ball down.
Isn't it funny, Alex Ferguson's sitting there, standing there thinking, we're winning 2-1, but he'll be more worried now than if the score was 0-0. Because psychologically, there's been a big swing round to Barcelona.
Keane trying to get amongst it. Rivaldo. Cocu. Figo has Luis Enrique running beyond him and was aware of that. This is Luis Enrique. Towards Anderson. Came off the head of Roy Keane, who'd got back there. Scholes.
He did exceptionally well there, Keane, because Stamp had been dragged wide. They're very short of headers in the box there, United.
Giovanni. Sergi. Rivaldo. Sergi. Luis Figo. Got up above Irwin.
He's definitely taken the game by the scruff of the neck, Figo. Virtually all Barcelona's best moments have come when he's been involved.
Captain at the moment in the absence of Josep Guardiola, who's been fighting injuries, it seems, for the last couple of years. A talented midfield player. Here is Figo again, Luis Enrique. Sergi. Zenden. Rivaldo. Into Zenden. He just got a bit of a buffeting there from Berg on the edge of the penalty area. He looks inquiringly in the direction of the referee. Henning Berg did just enough. But just at the moment, Barcelona are getting that extra man in midfield, which Alex Ferguson was talking about prior to the game.
I just wonder whether he'll get Nicky Butt on and try and shore it up a little bit, you know.
Figo. He's turned Neville. It's in towards Rivaldo, and he just couldn't quite clear Peter Schmeichel, but he had the Manchester United defence where he wanted them there, Luis Figo, and here is Nicky Butt. Are you sure you're not still in charge here?
No, I mean, he's looking at, he probably didn't want to do that too early, but I mean, they've upset the United rhythm, and I think Alex is probably thinking we've got to try and get back in the game, otherwise they're going to overrun us. We've got to try a bit of resistance, and I think probably one of the two front players is going to come off. Probably just leave one up the middle and try and get reinforcements from the wide position, but he'll certainly, I think, he'll want Keane to have some help there in the middle of the park. I mean, what you do know about Barcelona, and as we were talking about in the first half, they are a free-running side that are always at the best coming forward.
Rivaldo coming forward. Looking for Giovanni. Stam didn't quite manage to get the ball away. Irwin only as far as Luis Figo. Blocked by Dennis Irwin. Solskjaer knocked it against Abelardo though. And it is coming back at Manchester United as quickly as they clear it at the moment. Sergi. Luis Figo looking for the ball. It bounced rather fortuitously back towards Peter Schmeichel.
Yeah, that's a little tactic they seem to have adopted in the second half as well. Trying to play aerial balls on top of Dennis Irwin. And gamble on Figo getting a little flick-ons past him.
It's been a different game since the Brazilian Sonny Anderson poured a goal back for Barcelona after just 2 minutes of this second period. Luis Figo. Anderson, the goal scorer, held up by Baird. It's Figo, and he's trying to play Anderson back in here, and Schmeichel, rather unusually, went with his feet in the end, but got the job done and passed it to Ryan Giggs. Giggs trying to frighten Luis Enrique again. And the throw-in has been given.
I think the referee's on a sympathy vote with Luis Enrique's defending. I think that's the second time he's let him off the hook there for unorthodox challenging.
It is Oli Solskjaer who's coming off to make way for Nicky Butt. But who actually emerged as a Manchester United player in those 2 games against Barcelona back in the 94 Champions League campaign, when United was restricted with a number of overseas players they could play, and the likes of Butt and Scholes grew up really as a result of the opportunities they got in those games.
Well, I think Scholes will now obviously he'll get the support strikers role. He won't play right up front, but I think he'll play somewhere around Coco's area. And from positions like this, his job will be to get in the box.
Beckham back towards York. He just caught the back of his heels, and here comes Rivaldo. Now Figo sinks so much more of the ball. Rivaldo. Angled in towards Sonny Anderson, turned away by Dennis Irwin. First touch for Nicky Butt. Amazing, this is his 25th European Cup tie, and only 3 players in the history of Manchester United have played more games in this Premier competition than Nicky Butt. Billy Fowkes, Bobby Charlton and Peter Schmeichel. And that's how much European Cup football Manchester United have played in the last few years. Giovanni. Cross towards Zenden, who couldn't quite grow enough. And talking of the history books, it's amazing to think that of all the teams that Barcelona have brought to England down the years, only one has ever won here. 15 visits in European competition, and Barca's only success was back in 1960 against the Wolverhampton Wanderers of Flowers and Broadbent and Slater. Shandor Kochi scored 4 times in a 5-2 win on a sodden night at Molineux. Barcelona's sole triumph on an English club ground. Although they did win the final at Wembley in '92 when Ronald Koeman scored the goal against Sampdoria. York. Beaten to it by Reisiger. Run free for Roy Keane, though. Abelardo had time. He was almost disguised on that pass back to his goalkeeper, almost as if he was trying to take him by surprise. Nicky Butt. Paul Scholes. Edited by Luis Enrique, came off Rivaldo. Play on to the referee because Manchester United have possession. The upstand of Paul Scholes. Dispossessed there by Philippe Cocu. Luis Figo. Giovanni. Rivaldo. Cocu. Zenden. Loose one. Beckham. 40 York. He's all alone, Dwight York. All alone apart from Michael Reisiger, that is. Figo. Rivaldo through the legs of Keane. Roy won't like that. He's away from Butt. It's still Rivaldo on the ball. Trying to turn Berg, and Keane got back there and knocked it right against Rivaldo. Don't do that again. Giovanni. Space for Luis Enrique now. Problems for Manchester United. Luis Enrique making shooting space. Rivaldo trying to get a touch. It's all Barcelona for the moment. Rivaldo trying to turn away from Stam, and the referee's given a penalty. Rivaldo sucked him in. Stam got there late. Rivaldo went down, and Barcelona have the chance to equalise.
Well, that's a beautiful fed-in ball by Enrique, and all right, there's an element of a dive about it, but I think that is a problem Jaap Stam has got to overcome. He does get very, very close to attackers, and sometimes if the fella turns quick on him, you always run the risk of that. But I mean, you've seen it coming for a while now that Barca would possibly get a second, or if they tuck this one away, they'll get a second.
Big moment for Peter Schmeichel and for the Brazilian Giovanni. Schmeichel went the right way, but Giovanni has equalised for Barcelona, who scored twice in the opening quarter of an hour of this second half. Schmeichel just couldn't quite get there.
Yeah, if the ball goes high, very seldom will the keeper save them from penalties. But this is the incident again. He's turned, Stam's close to him. Possibly from the referee's position, it looked worse than that. I think Stam's a little bit unlucky there, but you can't afford to be too tight to this type of attacker in the penalty box.
Manchester United, who were 2 up inside 25 minutes and rampant at that stage in the game, who got a little warning just before half-time when Barcelona showed themselves, are now been pulled back to 2-2, but they have a corner. Fascinating closing half hour in prospect here. Beckham with a corner. Easy for Ruud Hesp. Xavi has been warming up for some time, and we understand that Giovanni, the scorer of the penalty, was the man who was about to be replaced. Ryan Giggs. Dennis Irwin. Cocu's challenge was clean. This is Rivaldo.
You know, I don't think United have put 4 passes together this half. 4 consecutive passes, that is.
Figo. Rivaldo.
And they've got a little problem at the top end of the field. Out of picture is Ryan Giggs is limping very, very badly by the look of it in that last challenge.
Zenden's cross. Driven in a little bit too long. Anderson giving game chase, but it will be a throw-in. Giggs seems to be okay. And it's Manchester United who have a collective injury to deal with here. But a loose one from Reisiger, and Hesp has to come off limits to deal with it. York was almost in. It's a decisive goalkeeping in a delicate situation for Ruud Hesp. There are tonight's numbers. Good luck.
I think the most important number at the moment is 2 each, isn't it?
Beckham. Oh, it might run through to Ryan Giggs. Almost did. Luis Enrique did just enough. Luis Figo. Stam though. Strong play. York. Seemed to be clipped there by Cocu. There's the winner of the holder of last week's winning ticket. Now, is this a moment for David Beckham or Ryan Giggs to lift Manchester United's night?
Every time they get one of these free kicks since he's been at the club, Stam always hangs about, doesn't he? I think he's got more chance of winning the lottery than getting this off Beckham.
Key moment in the game, this. Manchester United, who had Barcelona where they wanted them, now been pegged back. Need something to get them going again. It's Beckham. It's fantastic! Absolutely fantastic! Both in its execution and its timing, because boy, did Manchester United need something like that then. Wonderful, wonderful goal by David Beckham.
Well, we've seen him hit a few, Clive, but I'll tell you what, that is as good as many. That's probably the best he's ever hit. The space is there, he's got the height, he's got the curl, and the keeper's chasing it forlornly. That's a great knock.
What a night we're having at Old Trafford, and that is the best moment of it yet. A truly memorable free kick from David Beckham. And within 4 minutes of Barcelona squaring the game, David Beckham has put Manchester United back in front. Here's Giovanni, tackled by Keane. Well, there's that great free kick in Laws, which Glenn Hoddle will treasure the memory of during the World Cup finals. There was a very important free kick here in the opening league game of the season against Leicester City, which rescued something from Manchester United. But really, Barcelona were coming and coming at a stage in the game and looking the more likely winners, and suddenly David Beckham has given Manchester United the edge again, with a goal the likes of which just about only he can score.
And what a difference goals make. All of a sudden there's a spring in the United's legs again. The energy's back, they're zipping about. But Alex said at half-time there'll be more goals. I still think there'll be more goals.
Well, Glenn will be delighted when he has him back and that suspension is over next month. Cocu. Keane in the way. Here comes Ryan Giggs. Oh, he was clipped there by Cocu. Referee wasn't going to give it, you know. He needed some help there from his linesman, and really, Stefano Braschi, who was the man who took charge of the Cup Winners' Cup final in Stockholm when Chelsea beat Stuttgart last May, was closer to the man with the flag. Xavi is imminent. Barcelona now the team that need to kick-start their night again. Figo. Header away by Stam. Scholes down to Butt. Keane run off it by Giovanni. Scholes to Butt. Has Dwight York ahead of him. Cut out though by Michael Rice. He's had a good night at centre-half. Rivaldo. Now Giovanni. Well, they're trying to substitute him. I wish they would.
It would be if he'd have knocked one in, then he'd have turned around to the box and said, go on, I dare you.
Still more than a quarter of the match remaining. Giovanni. Luis Figo. Denis Owens done well, picked his pocket, then gave it away to Luis Enrique. Rivaldo trying to flick it on, Stam outjumping him. And Keane clearing. Oh, lovely control from York. He held it up well, he's won the decision. Barcelona are ready to make their change, and Giovanni, who scored that equalising penalty, is going to make way for Xavier Hernandez Cruz, known otherwise as Xavi. And he's just 18 years of age. He won't be 19 till January. This is his first experience of European club football.
I think there's a possibility. I'm just looking at this now. I think there's a possibility he might be going to go and play in that right back area, you know.
He's a midfield anchorman by trade. Let's see.
I think Luis Enrique was desperate to get him to right back. His first reaction was, "You playing here?" And I think Xavi took one look at Giggs and said, "No, I'm going to play here."
York. Beckham. It went out of play and curled back into the penalty area. It will be a goal kick. So Barcelona take glitz and glamour with them wherever they go. Maradona was in the team beaten here in '84. Romario and Stoichkov played in the 2-2 draw in '94. Cruyff, Koeman, Laudrup, Lineker, more recently Ronaldo. It's their centenary year, and you can have some real fun picking an all-time 11 for Barcelona.
What they've done, they've put Reisinger into a position that he's occupied very often for Holland. He's come into the right back position, and Luis Enrique has pushed up.
Here is Luis Enrique. It's into the near post, and Rivaldo has hit the woodwork. It's Anderson in fact. Zenden, now Rivaldo! Stopped by Schmeichel. Anderson stopped again and in by Figo. But the referee is not going to allow it. He's going to show a red card here. There must have been a handball.
It's a penalty. That should be a penalty, I'll tell you.
Well, surely it is.
Definite handball. Definite.
It's Nicky Butt, I think.
I didn't think he'd given it at first.
Nicky Butt seems to be the man in trouble here. Let's see. That was Zenden.
He lays it back in. I think it's Rivaldo. He gets a volley, and Nicky Butt.
It is Nicky Butt. Well, the goal has been disallowed. Butt has been red carded. And another penalty to Barcelona. Minutes remaining. It will be Luis Enrique this time. It's 3-3. And this extraordinary night takes another turn with Barcelona's second penalty from Barcelona's second penalty taker.
This is a tantalising one, isn't it? Tantalisingly close, but all of a sudden the game's turned up on its head again.
And now it's a 10-man Manchester United who must play through the remaining 20 minutes of the game. Nicky Butt, the first United player sent off in Europe since Paul Ince in Gothenburg in 1994. Paul Scholes. David Beckham. Here goes Gary Neville. Well, justice was served in so much that Barcelona did have the ball in the net before the penalty was given.
I think in a position like that, I mean, I think the referees as well to let the goal go and keep the player on.
Well, he can't keep the player on because the handball prevented the goal. That's in the
yeah, but if you let it in, if it's in the net, it's in the net, isn't it?
Here's Luis Enrique, who scored that penalty. Now Rivaldo. Luis Figo. Run off the ball by Keane. Xavi. Figo. It's Rivaldo and Anderson. It's a real chance for Sonny Anderson. And this might now be a question of hanging on for Manchester United and taking what they've got, if they can.
Well, that's some good interplay between the two Brazils in his turn. When he's hooked it, I thought that's a cert goal. Having said that, you know, it's a sort of night. Here's the handball here. The ball's laid back. Rivaldo hits it, and it's...
Yeah, the shot was by Sonny Anderson in actual fact, the one that Nicky Butt handled. And Figo stuck it in the net.
You know, it's been the sort of night, I mean, the odds are well stacked against United now. Down psychologically, Barcelona back on top, a man short. But it's been that sort of night, you know, where you wouldn't bet against United nicking something out of it still. I mean, who thought at half-time we'd be talking about United nicking something out of it? But I do think you've got to give Barcelona credit. I mean, they did come out with a purpose the second half. They've drove the game. Luis Figo got a lot more involved.
Rivaldo thought about a shot. Sergi has got forward here. Towards Luis Enrique. Just squirted off his head. Just thinking back to that night in Gothenburg when Paul Ince was sent off 4 years ago. That was the last time that Manchester United conceded 3 goals in a European tie. They were beaten 3-1 that night, just a couple of weeks after their 4-0 defeat in the Nou Camp against Barcelona.
That, of course, is the worry, an extra worry, if you like, for the Manchester United camp, is the fact that just shortly before the sending off, they'd already pushed Enrique into an advanced position. Now he can virtually play in there with nobody marking him.
Giggs has found York. Irwin. Keane. Outnumbered though. It's Rivaldo. Irwin's header. Only for Xavi. Reisiger. Luis Enrique's there, but so too is Henning Berg. It's a corner kick to Barcelona. Still more than quarter of an hour to play. A night of swinging fortunes. Manchester United 2 up. Barcelona back to 2-2. Manchester United 3-2 up with a wonderful free kick from David Beckham. Barcelona 3-3 from a penalty for which Nicky Butt was sent off. Figo's corner. Header away by Keane. Luis Figo. And claimed by Peter Schmeichel.
That's the problem, of course, with a man short. How often have we seen Schmeichel take those out the air, sling it straight out to Giggs, and there's a counter-attack straight away. United are forced to pull so many men back. He's got no options, he's got no outlet, Schmeichel.
Reisiger.
I mean, certainly he looks far more comfortable at right-back Reisiger than Luis Enrique did.
It's Philip Cocu who's actually gone into the centre of the defence alongside Abelardo. Rivaldo. Cocu, who played all over the field for Holland in the World Cup finals. He actually had a spell as a striker during the tournament. Played one game at left back, I remember. Mainly a midfield player, now a central defender here tonight.
That looks a far better shape. I know they're a man over as well, but that looks a far better shape than the one they started off with.
Beckham's little flick. Dwight York. Here's David Beckham again. Curled in towards Ryan Giggs. Abelardo's header. He'll go for a throw-in.
But I think we saw there the point Terry Venables was making at half-time about when Luis Enrique was there, didn't cover the position. Reisiger made sure if he didn't get the ball, oh, let's see Yorkie's trick. There's his trick.
Good work from York. Turned back, it's Xavi who was in the way. And some strength he showed initially against Abelardo. But a break on now. Rivaldo. Anderson is to his right here. On time. Sonny Anderson. Luis Figo running in the middle. Anderson played back to Rivaldo. And Zenden is offside. Let off. Just straight beyond Gary Neville and really looking along the line like that. He's got no excuse at all, Boudin Zenden. Is there anything that Alex Ferguson would want to try to relay to the players at this stage now?
I think the only way he can is to get his wide players back out, say play one up the front, Yorkie, play the 2 wide players and try and push his 2 wide players against the flank defenders. I mean, I know it's hard because it leaves you a little bit outnumbered in the middle of the park, but they've got to try and stop somehow the wide defenders starting attacks off like this.
Here's Reisiger. Philip Neville is warming up incidentally. Rivaldo. Now Xavi. Zenden. Barcelona trying to be patient. Sergi.
So soon I know Giggs is chasing him out in midfield. I'd sooner he was out here stepping the initial source.
Figo. Well, if Manchester United can keep Barcelona at that kind of range for the remaining 12 minutes, I think they'll be happy enough. Here is Philip Neville. And here is the change. And it's Dennis Irwin who's being replaced. Straight swap on the left-hand side of the Manchester United defence. Neville, who did start the season on the bench, was recalled in Woods last month. First touch for Phil Neville. Michael Reisiger. Philip Cocu. Rivaldo. Luis Enrique. Xavi. Figo. Barcelona trying to pull Manchester United one way, then the other. Now Figo makes the move, skipping past Keane, feeding Zenden, driven in low, cut out by Gary Neville. Corner kick to Barcelona. A little over 10 minutes remaining. Short to Figo. Xavi. Abelardo has come forward from the back. Instead, it's Michael Reisiger. Fancies his chances. Tell you what, that wasn't very far away.
I think Peter Schmeichel's a lot more confident than we were. Obviously, he's got a better view, but when the number 2 Schwarzinger's hit this one, I thought this was going right in the roof.
He was a European Cup winner with Luis van Gaal. Michael Reisiger as an Ajax player in '95 against Milan. He missed the final following year through suspension, actually. Here is Reisiger. Abelardo. Keane kicks. Just couldn't quite bring that one under his spell. Looking a little bit tired inevitably now, Manchester United, and however Europe's fledgling Super League unfolds in the coming months and years, the certainty is that there will be more games rather than less. So it's not going to get any easier to win, not for teams in the bigger European leagues like England and Spain. It's now 8 seasons, 8 participating seasons since an English team won this competition. Good work by Bear. Keane. Beckham's on a run down the right-hand side. He's got to check and come back. Keane tries to go himself and loses out. There are 4 Manchester United players out of the game here. Rivaldo. Luis Enrique. Giggs has got back. It's Rivaldo, though. Now to Zenden. Crossed in towards Luis Enrique. There's a flag up. Schmeichel got a rebound off the back of Stamm's head. Looks in the direction of the linesman.
Yeah, very relieved. Roy Keane, they're watching him trying desperately to get back into play after giving the ball away up in the top half of the field. He's got a responsibility the same as he had first half. That's to sit there and service. He's the best defensive midfield player they've got in the team. And it's important he's in areas where he can get his tackles in, not go careering upfield.
Dwight York. Phil Neville is up at his shoulder. There are 3 others in this attack for Manchester United. Neville in towards York. Little flick. Didn't quite reach David Beckham. Said he saw to that. Ryan Giggs got a blow in the face a moment or so ago and is a little dazed. The referee just stopping play so that Giggs can receive some attention. It was Giggs who got us going tonight with a terrific header after 17 minutes. Paul Scholes added to that lead shortly after. Manchester United went in 2 up, but Sonny Anderson pulled one back 2 minutes into the second half for Barcelona. That's how Giggs got injured. Giovanni equalised from the penalty spot after Stamm had been teased into a rash challenge, maybe a little unlucky in actual fact with the decision. Then David Beckham restored Manchester United's lead with a glorious free kick before Luis Enrique equalised from the penalty spot after Nicky Butt had been sent off for handball. We're going to see Jesper Blomqvist, Manchester United's summer signing from Italy, a Swede, as a straight swap for Ryan Giggs, who's got a cut eye. Made his debut against Charlton a week ago, 15 minutes against Coventry on Saturday. Blomqvist, having recovered from a foot injury, which delayed his Manchester United debut. Blomqvist got a last-minute winner against Barcelona for Gothenburg a couple of years back. I wonder. Neville's throw, headed by Sergi. Scholes, whoop it loose. And here is a chance for Barcelona with Xavi. Now Luis Enrique, two others in the break. Luis Figo in space. Manchester United stretched, and Figo's control let him down. They're pulled apart then. Now Dwight York. Abelardo had a yard stop. Reisiger. Cocu. Sergi to Xavi. Now Michael Reisiger. Trying to get past Blomqvist, he has done so. Reisiger pull back for Luis Enrique. And now Rivaldo. Sergi, four waiting in the box, played in towards Zenden, well seen by David Beckham. York all alone up there though now. Cocu got in front of him.
Yeah, but it's important, even though he's alone, he's the man that's got, they've somehow or other, they've got to try and get the ball to him, and he's got to do his utmost to retain it up there. He's too easily pushed aside there, Yorkie, by Cocu. Whether that's fatigue, you know, he's had a bit of running, or quite a bit of running about to do. Whether it's even worth throwing Coley on for the last few minutes.
Luis Enrique. Xavi. Luis Enrique. Seen off by Stam. Reisiger. Blomqvist got in a challenge. Sergi then. Zenden. Reisiger. Figo. Anderson. Rivaldo turned away by Neville, and of all people, it was Rivaldo. His first touch let him down.
Incredible. They've just had two great opportunities, Barcelona, and touches by Rivaldo.
Offside.
Touches by Rivaldo, and before that, Figo have let them down in very good situations.
What a night. 4 points. Manchester United 3, Barcelona 3. Beckham trying to force it onto York, who just slipped. He might have got a helping hand from Cocu. Luis Enrique. Space for Reisiger. Rivaldo. Anderson. Rivaldo has seen Reisiger in space. Again, just trying to stretch and pull Manchester United about. Trying to create that gap, that opening from which they can win the game.
Certainly the new kid, Xavi, he looks excellent in the holding position.
Here he is on the ball.
Plays, passing 1 and 2 touch, been excellent.
Rivaldo on it, able to link up with Luis Enrique. It's cancelled out. Scholes trying to get Beckham going. Oh, far too much of it. It's been an exhausting night in every sense, but exhausting to watch it. Manchester United go to Arsenal at the weekend, and Barcelona go to Real Madrid. Rivaldo.
I'm just thinking, I mean, after the sending off, it has been a one-horse race, and yet before that it was developing into one of the classic games in Europe, wasn't it? I mean, I think for an hour it's been a classic European game, one of the best we've seen for a long, long time. Sending off has actually made it very, very one-sided.
Still equity on the scoreline, though. Good flick from Figo. Luis Enrique. Keane trying to get back with him. At least held him up. Luis Figo again. Now Sonny Anderson. Laid off towards Luis Figo. Stam did well. Rivaldo trying to take over. Stam got in his way once more. Scholes emerges. 3 in the attack. Just needed to delay the pass a little bit. Cocu was motoring away from York.
Yeah, York is not the quickest in that respect. York is better at having the ball and going himself. He's quite good at making those little spin runs, and he tried one there, but Coco was well in command of it.
Chubby. Luis Enrique. It was Roy Keane who conceded the corner kick. 1 or 2 breathing very, very heavily in those white shirts now.
Yeah, let's hope they defend this corner a little bit better than 1 or 2 of them they defended in the first half. As I said, they had a problem in the first half, and now they're on lights as well into the bargain.
Last minute, Luis Figo with the corner. Cleared by Stam. Jesper Blomqvist. Beckham let it run. This is Dwight York. Heading back to Gary Neville. Beckham calling for it down the right-hand side as York and Blomqvist in support. Turned in towards York, turned away by Avelado. York didn't quite attack the space there.
Beckham did brilliant there. He started from one side of the field in the link-up play. He's raced right the full width of the field, played a great ball across the face, and like you said, I don't think Yorkie thought for a minute he could get it in there.
Luis Enrique now. Sonny Anderson, little back heel. Stam has done really well in the second half of this match. Here's Dwight York. Held it up for Phil Neville. Paul Scholes. Well, it was Alex Ferguson's great hope that they could get off with a win tonight, and that in the middle 2 games of the group, when Barcelona faced Bayern Munich back-to-back, the 2 other great names in the group would cut to each other's throats. But it's going to be a point apiece by the looks of it here tonight. Manchester United would take that right now. This is Reisiger. Luis Figo. Rivaldo. Into Luis Enrique. Stam caught up so quickly there. He is a big and powerful man, but he has some pace too.
He's been a rock, hasn't he, for them? He's done what centre-halves have to done. You're right when you say he might be unfortunate with the penalty against him, but most other things he's done well.
He actually faced Barcelona in the competition last season for PSV Eindhoven. Xavi tried to let it into Luis Figo. There was a flag up. How would you assess the result if this is what the result is to be, Rob?
At half-time, you would have said, although you have to say Barcelona are always capable of pulling things out attacking-wise, you'd have said United must win. I think if they get a draw now, which looks, as you say, the likely one, then because of the circumstances, they'll have to take it. But
Barcelona at home to Brøndby next. Manchester United in Munich in a fortnight's time against Bayern. Luis Figo. 4 in the box if he can squeeze across out of this tight corner. Jesper Blomqvist just helped him on his way. It is a goal kick, though.
I think he's been so responsible for them, you know, Figo. A lot of their bursts started when he was in the game. Their bursts were blown for time.
What a night